is your friend Shinobi, and in today's video we're going to talk about the Moto H30, as you can see here. And yeah, this is a new kind of camera setup which I previously did on, I think, the Pixel 4a video. So yeah, the A cam is the Redmi Note 10 Pro and my B cam is obviously the X-T100. So I'm going to give you my first impressions about the Moto H30 right here, as you can see. And yeah, I bought it recently. I skipped the Nothing Phone one because it was being delayed a lot, and instead I went with the Moto S30 because it comes with quite similar specs and at a lower price. So yeah, that's what it is. So let's start with the build and design of the Moto S30. Alright, so if we talk about the build of the Moto S30, so the build is pretty nice. It is a sleek and slim design, and I've gone for this meteor grey color. It's more bluish than grey, but it looks really nice. And as you can see how slim the phone is from all sides. So the weight of the Moto S30 is around 155 grams, which is very low. And yeah, it is entirely made out of polycarbonate. There's no use of glass, but it looks really nice. It doesn't feel at all cheap, and it feels quite sturdy for the kind of build that you're getting. And yeah, it's really good to hold in the hand, and since it's very light, so you can easily use it with one hand without any issues. So that's a pretty good thing, I should say. And I love using it because it's so light, and using such a light smartphone after such a long time is a great thing, honestly, and it doesn't really fatigue my arms or anything like some other smartphones that I recently used. But yeah, the back is matte, as you can see, and it does attract quite a few fingerprints, so if you're not using it with a case, you're gonna have to constantly wipe it down. But nevertheless, this looks really nice. I've got the Motorola branding on here and another one. So all in all, the design looks really good. The buttons could have been better. They are tactile, but they could have been better. It's not up to the mark. They give you a clicky feedback, but sometimes they are a little hard to press. You get a USB Type-C port at the bottom, and along with it you get a microphone and the speakers and the SIM tray here. You only get dual SIM support. There's no micro SD support on this one. So yeah, you can only insert 2 SIM cards in here. And on the left side it's completely empty, and on the top you do get a secondary noise cancellation microphone. And on the back again, as you can see, it has a triple camera setup. These two sensors are 50 megapixel sensors. One is the main and the other one is an ultra wide sensor. The main sensor does come with OIS, and the third sensor is a 2 megapixel macro sensor, which is quite frankly useless in my opinion. And you also get a dual LED flash over here. So overall, the design and build is really nice. I have no complaints regarding the design and build of this particular smartphone. So on the front, as you can see, we have got a 6.5-inch POLED 144Hz display. Yes, that's right. It's a 144Hz OLED display, and it's also 10-bit. So yeah, 1 billion colors. And honestly, this display looks really nice. It's adequately bright, both indoors and outdoors. And as you can see, it can go quite bright. And yeah, excellently smooth display. No hiccups or jitters as of now in the UI. And this does come with the Motorola MyUI 4X, I believe. So it is on the June security patch as of now, 1st June 2022, which was the latest update. And yeah, apart from this, the whole experience is pretty nice in this particular version of Android by Motorola. And if you can go to the Moto app, you will see all these features that are Motorola exclusive. So they do give you a lot of choice in terms of personalization. And you can go here, you can change all this stuff. It is really nice. And then there are a few Motorola gestures, which is pretty good. You have quick capture, you have this double chop to flashlight, then twist to open up the camera, which are pretty handy features in my opinion. So in the spec side of things, you do get the Snapdragon 778G Plus with this one, and you have an option of 6GB or 8GB of RAM with 128GB of storage. And I believe this has the new UMCP5 storage from Micron, which actually combines the the RAM and the UFS 3.1 storage. So yes, it does come with UFS 3.1 storage, and the RAM and storage is combined in this new UMCP5 storage, which makes it even more smoother. As you saw, there's no hiccups or anything. Right now it's on auto. If we go here in the display options, you will see that right now it's on auto, so you can either do auto or you can do 60 Hz or you can do 144 Hz. So I've kept it on auto because the battery life has been pretty good in auto, and as you can see there is no frame drops or anything even in auto. You can force it to 144 Hz if you want, but I wouldn't really recommend that because that really slows down the standby time of the phone, and the battery backup will not be as good as in the auto mode. So yeah, I will post some screenshot here of the last 3 or 4 days that I'm using the phone. Some of them will be on 144 Hz, the other will be on auto, and if you can see, I'm getting on average around over 6 hours of SOT, in between 6 or 7 hours of SOT, and all of them are above 24 hours of usage, that is over 1 day of usage. So that is pretty good in my opinion, that is getting more than 1 day of usage with this particular phone. And it comes with only a 4020 mAh battery, which is quite small compared to today's standards, but the battery backup is really good on this, especially in the auto mode. The standby time is really good. So yeah, if you're using it, use it in the auto mode, you won't really feel any difference in performance. And it does come with a 33-watt charger in the box, which is pretty fast, I would say, and it charges the phone really quickly in about an hour or so, which is really good. And in the box, you will get this particular case also, transparent case. It has started yellowing a little bit on the bottom, but yeah, you get it for free in this with this phone, so that's not really an issue. And if we talk about the competition in this particular price range of the Moto S30, then what should I say? You have the Nothing Phone 1, which recently came out, and that starts at around 33,000 rupees. And then people are comparing it with Pixel 6 also, which is kind of weird, but yeah. So if we talk about those competitions, for both of those devices, you don't get a charger in the box and you don't get a case in the box. So you've got to purchase those accessories separately, but you get both of them with the Moto S30, and it costs just about 30,000 if you go for the 8GB variant. If you go for the 6GB variant, it will cost you 28,000, which is a steal deal, I should say, because the RAM management is pretty good on this. Mine is the 8GB variant, but you can go with the 6GB variant. You won't have any issues with RAM management on this particular device. Now lastly, if we talk about the camera, I really haven't tested the camera as of yet that much. The camera UI is pretty good. You get all these things. You get the 1x button in the UI, then you have the ultra wide, and then you have the macro option. So the UI is pretty straightforward. In video, you can go up to 4K 30 FPS, which is really good with the back cameras. And yeah, with the front camera. Okay, so on the front camera also you can go up to 4K 30 FPS, which is pretty good, I should say. I don't think any other phone does 4K 30 FPS on the front camera. The Pixel does have it, the Nothing doesn't do it. Nothing only has 1080p 30 or 1080p 60 FPS on this particular phone in the front camera. So yes, you are getting 4K 30 FPS on both the front and back on the Moto H30. So it does have a 32 megapixel front camera, but I really haven't tested the camera as of yet. That will be done in the full review. So I will just post I'll just keep some images that I took in here, so you can judge it for yourself. But for first impressions, I would say the camera Optimization is not that great, the colors are a little awkward, and there is a major color shift between the regular and the ultra wide lens, and the macro is fine, I would say. Right, so you can shoot 4K 30 fps videos from both the back and front camera of the Moto S30, and this particular footage is from the front camera of the Moto S30 at 4K 30 fps. And I should say the footage looks pretty good. It's a little cropped out, but yeah, it looks pretty good. And another thing which I forgot to mention in the video is that the haptic feedback on the Moto S30 is quite good. It's still that shaky kind of vibration motor with does that jhan kind of a buzz, but yeah, it's still pretty good. It has been implemented in the entire UI, but yeah, it still needs improvement. It's not the best, but it's pretty good compared to some other phones. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the quality from the front camera video of the Moto S30. The skin tones look kind of reddish, but yeah, overall it looks pretty good. But yes, you do get more things like for what you pay. So in my opinion, the Moto S30 is a total bang for buck in this particular price range, and you get everything that you need. Space constraints are there, but yeah, you do get stereo speakers on this, which are surprisingly very good, and the loudness of the stereo speakers is pretty nice, I would say. So let me just play some songs for you all. So yeah, so at around 70 to 80% volume, the speakers get really loud. But yeah, the back does vibrate a lot when you go to the higher volume options. But yes, the speakers are really loud, and you also get Dolby Atmos, which makes it even better. It's really nice, and you do have wide support for all the OTT apps, including Netflix. But unfortunately, you don't have Hdr Playback on Netflix, as I said, for this, which is kind of weird. Yeah, so as you can see, there is no HDR playback on Netflix, although this is a HDR10 supported display, so Moto has got to sort that out with Netflix, I guess. But yes, apart from that, this is a pretty solid device for the price of 30,000 that you are getting. I may have missed a few points in here because I don't really have a script. for this particular video. This was just my basic first impressions after using this device for around 3 to 4 days. And yeah, this is, as you can see, this is the, what should I say, the Moto display, which is really helpful. You can view notifications and stuff from here, which is really nice, and it shows you the time, the battery percentage, and it comes up every time a notification is there. Yeah, just move the phone like this, that will come up. So that's pretty good, and these are handy features like this. So that's really nice, and I haven't seen any issues with the display either. For this, people were mentioning some green teen, black rust. I haven't seen any of that as of yet, so that's pretty good, I must say. So yeah, it's overall, it's a pretty great package for 30,000, or for 28,000 it's even better. So yeah, if you're considering a smartphone, you can definitely go for the Moto S30, I would say. Comes with stock Android, pretty fluid and smooth experience, and overall it's a great phone to buy for that particular price. You don't want to go for the nothing phone one, that is. But yeah, you do save quite a few bucks, and you get a charger and a case in the box for this. And honestly, I went for this because of that reason only, because I was saving some money and the nothing phone one feels a bit janky. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my first impressions of the Moto S30. So if you like this video, then don't forget to hit the like button, and definitely subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. The full review of the Moto S30 will be coming up soon on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Hit that bell icon for the notifications. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. I'm Shinobi, and I'm signing off. Peace.